Welcome to another episode of the Starter Girls Podcast with your host, Jennifer Loading.
And Brianna Dreles, and together we are the Starter Girls.
Where extraordinary decisions produce extraordinary results. These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. This episode is brought to you by Walt Mills, photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com. Additionally, we want to give a shout out to our friends at Studio Dallas. Studio Dallas is the best kept secret in the Dallas podcasting world. If you are looking for a studio with top-notch technology, video, and audio recording capabilities, as well as a production team that can help things run smoothly, then Studio Dallas is the place to be. You can learn more about that by reaching out to us at startergirls@gmail.com.
And don't forget to head over to our website at startergirls.com, where we have a freebie for you. We're going to help you up-level your decision-making skills, and we want to keep in touch. So just head over there and you can pick it up today.
Awesome. All right, we are super excited today. Let's get these started. Today is a great day to be brave. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up. Be amazing. Be you. Do you. All right, my friends, I am super excited to welcome our guest to the show today, Dan Clor. He is a guitarist, a vocalist, has a band called Weapon X, and he created it after serving as a Marine in Iraq. He is the founder of Strength in Numbers, an entertainment and concert event company that designs and promotes events, tours featuring bands spanning across multiple genres. He's also the creator of the Warrior Festival, American Warrior Festival, and some of his events that he's worked around have been around MMA and the New York Yankees, Las Vegas Raiders, and LA Kings. So, Dan, we are super excited to welcome you here to the Starter Girls Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we are going to get things started because we know you are busy. Like, you're the man of the day. You got stuff going on here. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Tell us how this kind of came about for you, like how we got to this event that you've got coming up, how all this kind of worked for you and came about.
Okay, well, it's really kind of a marriage of two of my favorite passions in my life, my military world with the Marine Corps and my music world. I've been a musician since I was about 15, 16 years old. And I basically just kind of went on two paths with both of those things. You know, I went and served in Iraq with the Marine Corps, and I went to music school out in Los Angeles. And I kind of followed both of those avenues as far as I could, and I continue to do that to this day. So I decided to bring them together with one foot in the veteran military causes and one foot firmly planted in the music side of things. So basically, it's been a lot of fun combining those two things together. It's really been a dream come true to be able to work with both of them simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, and I saw here that you were doing music while you were in the military. You started, is that when you were in the band? Was during that time, or was that afterwards?
Actually, I remember when we were in Iraq, I would play some worship songs for the guys who wanted that on Sundays, and we would just jam in the barracks once in a while with other Marines that could play. So we always kind of had music around. I had a guitar shipped out to me. That kind of took a while for it to get out there, so I got a little beater acoustic guitar from one of the guys that was leaving to go back to the States. And so you kind of took what you could get at that point.
Sure.
You know, there wasn't too many guitar shops there in Ramadi, Iraq, so we would make do with what we had. So it was really cool to be able to play for the guys and kind of help take their mind away from things for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can only imagine it was probably very healing for a lot of the guys and also just comforting. I mean, music tends to do that for people, especially in your situation. Like, what a gift that you were able to give to everyone and along with the others who were joining you. But I mean, that's a huge gift to be able to like do that. And you know,
yes.
like I'm a music person as well. That's my background as well. So I'm just like picturing it, you know, and how awesome that you were able to do that. And like I said, use that gift that you were born with and serve in that way. It's great.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. Did you get to watch this documentary?
It was really cool.
Not yet.
Yeah, so I watched your documentary. I was looking through all the stuff that you had sent, that his band and all of the stuff that he has going on, or that he did, and kind of how this all came about for you. I think it's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, what a gift to be able to do that.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, in the documentary, that my first go around in the Marine Corps, I was a stubborn young Marine, and didn't do things exactly the way that I should have done them, but I was able to come back, and it really was kind of a blessing and a gift, and the stars aligning for me to be able to get back in and never take it again for granted, and got a chance to go over and serve in Iraq with my fellow Marines, and playing music for them. Yeah, it was very therapeutic, and we had a great time when we would sing along in the circle there, and it kind of took everyone away from it for a little while. So
Yeah.
it really was cool.
Yeah, and I will have to put the documentary out for our listeners because they're going to want to know the story behind that. Because I didn't know that because we didn't talk about that before, and so I watched that and I was like, wow, how to like go back and totally like swallow your pride and be like able to go back and do that. You know what I mean? Make that right. I think that is so awesome.
Yeah, in the way that happened, I went to school with this gentleman who was about 5 years older than me, and he went to the Naval Academy, and I knew him from the wrestling team. And I just happened to go out on a New Year's Eve. We hadn't seen each other in probably 15 years, and I ran into him randomly at our hometown like golf course bar on New Year's Eve, and he asked me how come I wasn't in the Marine Corps, and I said, I was having a hard time getting back in to make it right. And he said, it's your lucky day, because he was in charge of the Southern California Recruiting Command, and all those phone calls that went unanswered, he was able to go in and move mountains for me. And it was really like a 1 in 1,000 chance, because when you kind of have that type of reenlistment code that I had, not a lot of Marines are able to fix it. And if it wasn't wartime, it wouldn't have happened either. So it took Iraq needing men in that unit, and running into that colonel who was a major at the time randomly on a New Year's Eve night, and I hadn't seen him in 15 years.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you take that away, and I don't know. There's no American Warrior Festival, because I don't have the history in the Marine Corps, and I wouldn't have been able to make it right. So it really, really is a special thing.
Yeah. Which I think the question we want to ask, tell us about this American Warrior Festival. Tell us where this is happening, what this is all about.
Sure. We have American Warrior Festival in a few different cities: Rochester, New York City, Austin, San Antonio, Nashville, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles are the cities where we've had events before. And those are kind of our core cities that we're building on. So last year we actually lost pretty much our whole calendar, but we're rebuilding this year with some new ideas. We're doing more concerts themed with sporting events, and we're working on a big Yankee event right now. That's exciting. That's going to be in Manhattan. And we're also kind of planting the seeds for the Raider event and the LA Kings event. So our two strongholds are Los Angeles and New York City. It's basically, music, craft beer, barbecue, all kinds of good things here. Veteran causes is the number one thing we do. So we have a lot of different kinds of events that really are rooted in live music and sports and veteran causes.
That's fantastic. That sounds like a fun event.
Yeah, it is. It is. For example, this Yankee event, it's going to be live music with music education, batting cages, pitching instruction, meet and greets, autograph signings, memorabilia, raffles, all right there on the Hudson River.
Wow.
So we really like combining those two things.
And out of
And
curiosity,
the veterans just come in for free. Mm-hmm.
are you doing how are you finding your acts for your events? Are you Are you utilizing local talent? Are you doing bigger names? What does the entertainment look like?
A little bit of both. Yeah, that's a great question. We have everything from local to regional to the national bands. Like the national acts, we've had bands like Megadeth, or the bass player for Megadeth, the Helmet, Madison Rising, who's played the Daytona 500 and a couple other events. Who else have we had? And some kind of regional acts that are big in kind of like the Northeast. And then a lot of locals. We're probably going to start doing some larger names going forward because we're starting to do bigger budgets. But we'll always be a home for the locals too, to be able to get started with us. We kind of like to work with all three levels.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome. I just had a question. I totally forgot what I was going to ask. So good.
I've got an artist for you. I'm going to send him your way.
You have an artist. Awesome. Yes, but Brianna's in the entertainment industry, so she knows people too. I think that's why I said I wanted to connect you two. Y'all needed to meet. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're always looking for acts. Now, when people say, okay, you guys are multi-genre, how does that work? I'm like, well, we're multi-genre, everything from electronic to jazz to metal. We tend to gravitate towards kind of the edgier, grittier artists in each genre. It just tends to be kind of our brand. So country would be kind of like your Johnny Cash types, like your kind of your grittier, edgier artists. It just seems to be what we gravitate towards, and it kind of gives us a connective fiber across all the genres. Because
cool. Awesome.
it could be a different musical delivery, but the attitude is the same.
Awesome.
Between Metallica and Johnny Cash. Same attitude, different musical delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. And I listened to some of your music on the before we came in here. I listened to some of it. So pretty good stuff. I know what I was going to ask you. You have a podcast. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're on episode 13 coming up.
Okay. Tell us about the podcast.
The podcast is really a delivery, like kind of promotional vehicle for us to deliver our message through a different medium. It's not so much a variety type of show. Even though we obviously try to have interesting content, it's kind of more like a news blast, but we also feature all the different things that we have going on. We realized that on the next one, we're gonna highlight some of the most awesome female veterans that we've worked with. We realized we didn't have a lot of female veterans on our podcast yet, so we reached out to them, and like 200 to 300 of them hit us up. So we trying to figure out how we're gonna sift through and see who can go on first. But we try to have a cool theme on every show. And the next one is going to be honoring the female warrior.
They got to figure out which one is the bigger badass. Like, who's the badass of the badasses, right?
They are. There's some really, really tough women in the Marine Corps. And we actually, in boot camp, the scariest drill instructors were the female drill instructors. Because we had to work in the chow hall. And it was the female chow hall. And they played no games. They would scare you.
Yeah.
So it was funny. They were even more tenacious than the guys.
Why does that not surprise
me?
me?
They got a lot to prove, probably.
That's right. This is so good. Okay, so this is awesome. You've got a lot of really amazing stuff going on. I think we could talk about it for a while, but I know you've got to be in places. So I think we should do a couple fun questions and let him get to where he needs to be.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah. We were going to ask you a couple of exciting and fun questions, and I think I'm going to take the music route because that's predictable.
Yeah.
I would love to know what your first concert. I want to know what your first concert was.
Metallica Black Album Tour 1991, December 3rd at the Buffalo Auditorium.
Why am I not surprised?
I was going to say the same thing.
Changed my life forever. I couldn't believe it. It was just 3 hours of just them, 2.5 hours maybe. It was just unbelievable. I was 16, I think.
16 years old, seeing Metallica. Changed your life. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I'm going to stay in that line, but I think what I want to ask you is about your company. Like, what has been maybe the biggest highlight for you? Like something that you've just been like, bam, that was awesome in this company that you've been, like all the stuff that you've been doing.
I think it was either just surprising veterans on hard times with either like a rent check, or there was one company we worked with that a veteran couldn't get to work anymore, so we actually brought a vehicle in at the show, and they gave the vehicle away to the veteran and changed her life. That was a really cool thing. Just kind of surprising some of the veterans with certain acts that we've had. All those things really are probably the coolest stuff, is when you're able to surprise a veteran. They don't know it's coming, and they don't know how they're going to pay their rent. Or we've been able to work with them to like facilitate getting a service dog for them. Things like that. When you can surprise a veteran, they have no idea it's coming. That's the best.
So awesome.
That is great. I love it. And I did want to ask that if there was that give back component to your festivals. Like what is that? What does that look like?
Well, here's the exciting thing. Up to this point, American Warrior Festival has had to partner with veteran nonprofit partners such as Mission 22, Honor Flight, Warrior House, Freedom Station, Waves Project, all these different kinds of veteran nonprofits. And we're excited now to announce that we're going to have our own nonprofit called the Strength in Numbers Organization, which I'm so excited. It was 2 a.m. at a dive bar in Manhattan Beach, California, where I ran into this gentleman who was in the alleyway, and I found out he was a veteran. And then he told me to call him on Monday, and I found out he was a Naval Academy grad, Harvard Law grad at one of the largest law firms in the world. And he took us under his wing and is developing our nonprofit that we've always dreamed of. So pretty soon, our nonprofit's going to do 7 things. Number one, we're going to do events at children's hospitals, VA hospitals, with the at-risk youth, which we've done before. We did music lessons on top of a police station in Watts, California, in South Central. We're going to do more of that. We're going to do music at clothing and food drives. We're going to give away veteran tickets to shows. We're going to train the youth to get ready for the military. And last but not least, warrior retreats. Those are the 7 objectives of our nonprofit that is going to line right up with American Warrior.
I love it.
Bravo.
Yeah.
It's going to be busy, but we're building up to it.
Yeah. Well, you seem excited about it, and I think that's important because I think you have to have the passion and the drive behind it to keep it all going. So definitely, I congratulate you on all of the things that you have going on. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you ladies have a great podcast going. I like the look of your
thank you.
backdrop there, and the way you guys do your intro. It's really cool.
We've
I
been
like
working.
the vibe of it.
We've been working on it for a while. We got a great camera guy back there too, so he gives us the thumbs up, the thumbs down back there. Every now and then you get to hear him. He'll chime in and say something, or he might start singing. You don't know, right?
The production is great, and I'm also very impressed with the way you guys sign up your guests and the reminders and the links. I told my buddy, I'm like, we got to step our game up to be pro like these ladies are here. They're showing us how it's done. So it inspires us.
Thank you.
That's killer. Well, you have to keep us informed on how we can support you, how we can support like this whole initiative. I mean, it's really remarkable, and we are so excited for you. We're happy you're here today, and we appreciate you taking the time out to be here with us.
Oh, anytime, ladies. And we're going to be you're in Dallas, correct?
Correct.
That's probably the next city on deck for us in Texas.
Yes. Bam.
So I'm sure we could work something out. Maybe you guys could do a live podcast from the show or something.
Be killer.
Bam.
We're
Yes.
in.
Chris,
Count
we
us
got
in.
a thumbs up back there. Got a fist
Yeah.
bump back there. Something.
Yeah, we're in.
We're
joining.
in.
Yeah.
You let us know. We're in.
That's
so
right.
If our listeners want to find you, where do we send them? Where do we tell them to go?
You can have them go to AmericanWarriorFestival.com, or strengthennumbers.ent.com. Both of those places, they could find us, leave us a message, and we can get right back to them.
Awesome.
Perfect. And what about social media? Are you guys on social media as well?
Yep. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram. We have Twitter. Let's see. Am I missing anything? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, American Warrior Festival TV. If they go to Facebook and just punch in American Warrior Festival, that's how they'll find us on Facebook. Let's see. Our podcast, they can go to iHeart. They can go to Apple Podcasts and just say American Warrior Festival, and it'll come up. So all those different places. And our websites have all of our social networking links too.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and we'll make sure too that we get everything connected. We'll find you and get all of it connected.
Awesome. That sounds like a plan.
Well, Dan, we appreciate you. We thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you working with the phone here in the vehicle.
We'll make it work. Yeah. We want to say to our listeners, of course, if you enjoy our podcast, please be sure you give us a rating both on iTunes and Facebook. Of course, we can't do this without you. And hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And with that, I think we're ready to wrap things up. It's been awesome. If you are working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you, Steve Jobs. And we do want to say, in order to have success, you must start, and every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We will see you next time.
Ciao.